Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Inlay Terms. I'm your host, Payman Ascari. Our guest today is Mr. Nicholas Bonderoff. Welcome, Nicholas.
Thanks, Payman.
Do you like Nicholas or Nick? What do you go with?
Nick's good. Nick's good.
All right, less syllables. Nick, you've gone through some dark times. Well, what's going on? Did they actually fire you from your work?
So where do I start with this? I put myself forward to be a PPC candidate. Would have been almost probably like April of last year, and then I kind of went through like selection process, blah blah blah, and then I was like formally put as like a PPC candidate in September, but I never really like said anything about it. Never publicized. I had like 100 other things I was dealing with, and it wasn't until Sudbury.com reached out like 2 weeks ago. Kind of a new local online newspaper saying, hey, the election's coming up. We went on the PPC website. We found out you're the candidate. Can we do an interview with you? And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, I guess I can't just lie low anymore. Like, I've kind of got to make myself not so much known, but I guess known too. But so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do the interview. Let's do it on Friday. So they're like, sure. I was like, okay, come by my place because I have like a really cool bed and breakfast that I also run. My primary job is I work as a mining engineer, or I manage a mine engineering services group at my previous employer, BezTech, consulting engineering firm. And so I told my president, who I report to, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing an interview with several. First of all, I told him like I intend to run as a candidate for the PPC party, and I've got an interview tomorrow, and I want you to be aware so you're not like caught off guard because there'll be an interview probably published, in the coming week or so. And his reaction was kind of caught me off guard. He says, "Well, I got to talk to legal counsel and I got to talk to HR because I'm not really sure I can have you running as a PPC candidate while representing BezTech." And I'm like, well, I'm not going to bring BezTech into it. Like, I realize your business is not politics, it's engineering. And he's concerned that, well, people might look me up and they'd be associated with BezTech just by looking me up on LinkedIn or something. I'm like, well, it's not going to impact my work at all. And he's really concerned about me being employed. I'm like, well, if I got elected, yeah, then I wouldn't, I'd have to resign, but I kind of intend to remain employed and I'll do this on my own time. It won't impact what I do for BezTech. And then he kind of went on about like, he respects my freedom of choice, but he's really concerned that I can remain employed while doing this. And I kind of just didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, like maybe he's not thrilled about it because some of their policies might contradict the PPC platform, but nobody's all going to agree on everything. So I do the interview. It went really well, I thought. They talked to me for like an hour and a half. And then the following week on Tuesday, the interview got published on Sudbury.com. Actually, that was like a pretty fair article that they put out. There's things I could have worded a bit better during the interview because it was the first one I ever gave. I simply stated, I worked at a consulting engineering firm in the city, never. And I told the reporter when I did the interview, I'm like, my employer doesn't want anything to do with this. Like, just, I work for a consulting firm and leave it at that. And he did. And, but, Sudbury's not the hugest town in the world. So anyhow, it goes live or published, like, I guess it would have been Tuesday afternoon. And then Wednesday afternoon, I'm in a call with one of the clients and I get a notification on my phone. It says, submit your password. I was like, that's weird, whatever. Never thought too much of it. And because there's always finicky things, so I didn't think too much. And that was on my phone, but I got a notification on my laptop saying like, someone, can you meet with me and Paige in HR? And I was like, okay, but I need like 5 minutes. I'm still like wrapping up a call with a client. And so I finished that. And then I, just saunter down the hallway and go to this office. And sure enough, there's HR. She's sitting with another manager because my supervisor is off. He had a medical appointment. I'm like, okay, this is odd. I'm thinking maybe they just want to talk about the article or that went live. And I'm like, sure, like maybe they had some questions about that, just because it's not every day somebody runs in the federal election for a corporation. So I can imagine that. So I sit down and they're like, hey, Nicholas, we've decided to terminate you immediately without cause. And here's your like release agreement and your severance offer. You can take a week to read through it. And I kind of sat there and read through it. I didn't read through everything, but for probably 5 minutes, I read it. I was also kind of in shock, like was not expected. Like, I mean, I knew that going into politics could have some challenges, but I wasn't expecting this. And yeah, then HR walked me. I asked him, like, did the president, like my supervisor, is he directing this? Like, where's he? Like, he was off that day because he had like I said, a medical thing. And they're like, yeah, he wasn't available, so he just got us to do it. And I'm like, well, what's the reason? Like, I'm kind of confused. And they're like, well, we're deciding to take the department you manage in a new direction. Was the reason I was given. And it was wild. Like, I mean, I've had to terminate people within the organization before, but there's usually like a conversation with them. Usually the supervisor, I would say in 100% of cases, is present. And if they're not, the termination can wait a day unless there's like, something extreme that it couldn't. And so it was definitely like, I thought I was on like a reality TV show. Like I couldn't wrap my head around like, and I just walked out. It was like, you can pick up a few things and we're walking you out and we'll get the rest of the stuff to you later. So yeah, that's my short version. I mean, go on in details of certain things, but maybe if you have comments or questions on that, it continues on quite extensively, but I don't want to keep rambling.
I have a question. Is it you ever seen the movie The Goodfellas?
I probably have, but I'm terrible at social pop culture.
There's that scene where Joe Pesci thinks he's going to be a made man, and he walks in the room. There's a fish on the wall, and they shoot him in the back of the head. I bet that's what it felt like. You walk in, you're like, oh crap! Oh no, this is it.
That's yeah. Like when I saw HR there, I was like, this is odd. And then I was starting to wonder, and then it kind of like all clicked. I'm like, my phone they just locked me out of my accounts. I bet this is what's happening, or some variation of it, or like I kind of had like an inkling, like what this seems really odd. But yeah, they were quick and quick with it.
I don't usually do this, but what's your Twitter handle? You're not tagged in the post, maybe.
Oh yeah, it's N Bonderoff. So my first initial and then my last name. Maybe I should have put that instead of PPC Sudbury, but I've only put out like 4 posts on.
I see it. Okay, so hopefully we'll get some of your followers over here in case they have any questions. Just goes to show we're not prepared here at Inlay Terms. Is there like what clause? How ironclad was the contract? Like, is there something in there that says if they believe that you might not be able to perform your duties, they can terminate you?
Yeah, if it said I couldn't do my duties, I think I don't know exactly what's in that the employment contract, but I mean it would have normal stuff that would be if you're not doing your job, you could be terminated with cause. But running for a federal candidate or federal politics, there's certainly no clause that says you can't do that.
No, the reason I ask is I ran a very, very small company, and I wrote the employment contract with my lawyer. And in there, basically, the only thing it really says is you can't be employed somewhere else while you're being employed here. That was really the only thing in there that could get them terminated. Otherwise, you'd need cause. If this company was a big company, they probably got like 10 lawyers to draft it in such a way that if you're sneezing excessively, they could fire you.
It's about 100 people, 110 people. They don't have like lawyers on staff, but I would imagine they have a legal team either in Sudbury or Toronto that provides them advice and recommendations. So, I mean, would have reason to believe that the president reached out to HR and the legal team and said, hey, like, can we terminate this person? We don't want to be associated with politics or the PPC party. And I can only say I have reason to believe. I can't even say that is the reason they fired me because I started, reading into the legalities of it all. But I imagine they were told, like, you can't really do it, but just give them severance and offer them a bunch of money, and then there's a release agreement that they had wanted me to sign, which said I couldn't talk about why I was terminated. I just had to say it's being resolved. That was, if I signed the release agreement, they would pay me out, and then all I could say is it's being resolved is like the only thing I could say. But I didn't agree with that, and I went back and forth with them for a bit. I'm like, well, I don't agree with your release conditions. Like, fine, you want me to work there? I'll take your severance. It's semi-acceptable. Like, obviously you don't want me there, but I'm not going to just say nothing happened. Like, I have a professional career, and it's really weird to be like, oh, I just got like terminated out of nowhere. I want to be able to say like, hey, this is what happened. And they're like, no, we won't let you change anything in the release agreement. Like, it's all like, literally, I can't say anything. So they probably had a legal team write up that release agreement, but I imagine it's fairly standard for any person that they terminate.
So sorry, just for clarification, did you sign that release agreement?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you're not going to go to jail for having this conversation.
That's why I can speak as freely as I want. I can't say like disparaging things about the company, and I never would. Like, I do think that they're a good company. I think there's good people that work for them. I just think that they had a real knee-jerk reaction and didn't really think it through, and that's kind of what's led us here.
Do you know if there's any other candidates that have gotten fired because all the candidates presumably have jobs?
Not that I'm aware of. I know when I went through the interview process, the guy interviewing me, he actually had some interesting questions. He's like, one of them is like, if you lost your job because of being a candidate, this is literally a question. He's like, would you be all right? And I'm like, well, I would be in a bit of a bind, but I mean, I'm okay. My life wouldn't collapse overnight, because he said in the last election, they had someone, I guess, whose bank pulled a loan or a mortgage or something on a candidate, and he indicated that it ended up going to court like after the last election, and that individual got a whole bunch of money through the courts for what was done to them. But it was a weird question. Like, the PPC is like, this could happen, or maybe not could happen, but we're concerned something like this could happen because just of the world we live in. And yeah, that was a question as part of the interview process, and I was not expecting to have that happen.
Radio FNUV says using NDAs to hide crimes should be illegal. I agree, and people who hate Justin Trudeau and know what he did with a certain underage girl probably think so as well.
Yeah, I don't agree with the release agreement. Like, there's lots of stuff in there that's okay, but it's already like agreed to. Like, I can't share confidential company information. I can't take company property.
Right.
I can't do all those things. And like, okay, sure, I'll sign the release agreement. But the weird part is there's like 2 sections on, you will never speak about anything you did or why you left Bezdek. And even if I had left under better conditions, I would be really hesitant to sign something like that, to be like, I can't ever talk about my previous employment.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I wanted to talk about one other thing, and it escapes my mind now.
So I can continue on my little story of how this all
Go ahead.
ended up going down. So really nothing happened. Like, okay, I'm not going to sign your release agreement. I didn't sign it. There was an article that says I'm running as a PPC candidate. Okay, as a PPC candidate, and coincidentally, yes or no, Nick doesn't work there. I never shared with anyone what had happened. I guess a couple of close friends, and it just kind of like, it went like that. And I think nobody thought too much of it. But then I did a follow-up interview with Sudbury.com on the day the election was called on Sunday. They called all the candidates in Sudbury, and I had my, talk with the reporter for a bit. And I always like his quotes that he gives of me, or I like my own quotes sometimes, because I'm quoted in the paper as saying, like, essentially, I find it very confusing that none of the other parties have a platform yet. As I was looking through all of them, on the election when it was called, I'm like, okay, there's no platform on any of them. and the comment that got onto the published was that essentially Nicholas is offering up any of the platform to any of the other parties if they want to take part of it because you have no platform. So anyhow, that was my quote. And then I also mentioned to him, like, I assumed that maybe he knew because Sudbury is not the biggest town. I was like, yeah, I also got actually terminated the day after your article went live. And he's like, what? I was like, oh, yeah, like the day after your article went live, like I was walked out by HR. And I kind of went through a brief summary of what I explained to you, that I have reason to believe that this is why. And he was like, pretty interested in it. He didn't want to like, he's like, we might like look into this a bit later. I'm trying to just get out an article here on Sunday to do with the election going live. But he's like, we got to talk to BezTech. And I'm like, well, they're probably not going to say much. And of course, they legally can't say much either about my termination. Or about certain aspects, I guess. And then anyhow, they ended up running an article that just says, Nicholas Bonderoff, the day after we published an article that he's a PPC candidate, he was terminated without cause and walked out with HR. And they stated just all the facts that I gave them. Like, I'm not saying, again, I never say that that's why they terminated me. I just have a whole bunch of reasons to believe that it is, because it hasn't gone to like court or blah, blah, blah. So I can only ever say that. And anyhow, that like blew up. I've never done social media much. Like I have like, LinkedIn that I occasionally post on, like work related stuff. And I had I always forget her name. Anyhow, Chelsea, she's my account. What's the correct political term? She's running my
campaign manager.
Pardon?
Campaign manager?
Yeah, no, the agent. Or,
official agent?
Official agent, yeah. But she's also like my campaign manager in finance and pretty much everything. But so he's like, okay, we got to get your X account set up so you can use social media. So essentially, I just reshared the Sudbury.com article from my X account that had sit dormant for like 10 years. And it blew up. Like it got reshared by all sorts of I don't know if they're like overly influential people, but a lot of people that are on the X sphere and have followers, like a lot of them reshared it. And then Maxime reshared it. And my phone just started ringing off the hook from like people I knew, people I didn't know, like from the PPC part of the national executive is calling me being like, hey, like what's going down here? Because they're quite interested. It was a really weird conversation. They call me and they're like, this is great news. And I'm like, whoa.
No, it's not. Not from where I'm standing.
This is not great news. They're like, okay, it's not great news, but like, this is some, I don't know how they worded it, but I understand what they're saying. Like, it's good sharing what's happening to people that are standing up for the PPC, because it's a prime example of what a lot of people are scared of, and here it's like actually happening. So had that, and then yesterday, Maxime called me once, like a month and a half ago. Just called all the candidates. He said just to say hi. How's your campaign going? That, and then he also called me yesterday to be like, okay, like, what's the quick synopsis? Because then I guess Sudbury.com wanted to talk to him. So then Sudbury.com talked to him and me. And then they did another article yesterday. Or was it? No, it was this morning it hit. This morning, Sudbury.com, right on their front page, got a picture of Max and a picture of me. And I forgot. He says shameful. He's like, shame on them or something to that extent with regards to my company. And it was pretty strong words from Max about what had happened. The words for quotes for me are a little more subtle, but he went full, and I got tons more to share, but I'll let you maybe have some more questions.
What a disgrace! Like the absolute, let's call it our democracy, our rule of law, our organs of elections. They're being eroded. Max got disqualified from the debates we tried, and we might have even met the requirements of getting a candidate in every riding. They still just said, "Nah, you're not getting in." And then now with you, like this is they're firing you because you're running for public office. I suspect, and this is my question to you, like I suspect if you take it to court, some activist judge is going to say, "Oh no, we're going to side with the company." Are you planning on taking this to court?
So I've had a couple people put me in touch with different lawyers or different lawyer groups. I mean, I did sit down with my lawyer in Sudbury before this, but he's like, he does real estate law, and he's just like, Jesus, Nick, like, okay. And he put me in contact with someone in Toronto, but their legal firm was had a lot of pronouns, and I look at the cases they've won, and one of them was like gender identity, and I was like, I just don't think you might be a great HR employment law firm, but I just don't think your values are quite going to align with what I need. But I've had two other law firms that I've briefly interacted with that have some interest of chatting with me more. But do I want to go to court and like turn this into a big disaster? No, I don't. I just want to work a normal job. I wanted to run in politics. I have no desire to drag this out through court.
Sorry, Nicholas, you know what you need to do? You need to get on US media. I'm sorry, but because CBC is not going to tell this story. I'm guessing you won't get Alex Jones, but like, I don't know, Jim Price or somebody in the US to say that this is happening. People who run for office in Canada get fired.
Yeah. I that's why I was open to this. I mean, I've never done a podcast, so but I'm happy to share. I think what I have to share is an interesting story that's, you know, not just interesting, but maybe quite concerning. I think if it went to court, I would have reasonably high expectations that I would win. At least I would win the common law severance, because they have no reason to fire me. So they were like offering me a severance that, although it was low, it sort of aligned with that common law severance if you terminate someone without cause. But my concern was their release agreement. But if it went to court, then I guess potentially could be other damages if it was tied to me running as a PPC candidate, not just tied as terminated without cause. Like if it went to court and it got associated with like, okay, well, they had legal advice that said you probably shouldn't fire him just for running as a candidate, and then they did, then it sounds like there's other damages that could happen. But again, I'm not trying to turn this into a big court show, but I do want to be something that's like, yeah, this is why I was terminated. I just don't know how to go about that right now.
So like, do you have any income right now?
So I work still part-time for the armed forces. So I've worked for them for like 15 years as an engineer officer for the Canadian Armed Forces. So I've done that. So I have like income there. And then I also own several properties that I rent out. So I have some income there. I mean, it's small in comparison to my main source of income, which is working in the engineering field. Everything else is, fairly small in comparison, but I mean, like not a great situation, but not the worst.
I think the moral of this story is you have to be like self-sufficient. So in your case, you have income coming in from your rental properties. You really that should be the part of the Canadian dream, like to get to the point where they can't cancel you is basically what I mean.
Yeah, and then that's hard, because then most people rely on an employer that maybe has views that don't align with them, and it makes it harder, because how many people are self-employed that want to do this? You're narrowing your candidacy pool a bit.
Yeah, that's true. I got a question, and Prairies kind of alluding to it. How is this going to impact your ability to find work in the future? Like, how many years were you working there? Are you going to have to lie about why you left?
No. 3 years. I've been working in the mining industry for about 16 years now, since graduating. And I don't think it'll have a huge impact. Like yesterday, I got a call from a recruiter, and he's like, can you send me your updated CV? I need people with like, I heard about you in the news or on X. I don't know where he heard about it, but he's not in Sudbury. He's probably out of Toronto or something. and he's like, I got a position for you if you want to relocate here, and another one here. They need, senior mining engineer personnel. And then the armed forces reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we can get you on like a 3-month contract, because they're also like, I had tons of people reach out to me and would be like, we're so sorry. And a couple, like I said, the recruiter in the armed forces is saying, if you need employment, like the employer I'm recommending or we represent is not going to give a shit that you ran for the PPC.
So it was also almost like a blessing in disguise. It doesn't seem like you're too negatively affected.
Yeah, I didn't really want to, a lot of the jobs are, you potentially have to move, or they're shorter term. Like, I really like working for Bestech. Like, I honestly think they're like a good organization. They've got really good people. They're fairly supportive. They're fairly flexible. I believe that they just had this knee-jerk reaction of like, oh God, an article came out with the PPC candidate, and some of the things in the platform of the PPC don't align with the company, and our solution is just terminate like right away. Like that's what I think happened, but I don't know. It was super odd, like super odd how everything went down.
Has this hit local news? Like, do the people in your riding know about you now?
Oh yeah, so I went canvassing because I got to still finish collecting these 100 signatures, which between me and my official agent, and there's like a half dozen other people collecting signatures. I made a commitment to Chelsea. I'm like, yeah, okay, Monday night, although there's 1,000 things going down, I'm going to go out and I'm going to collect at least 10 signatures, fill up one sheet. And I would say 1 in 4 people in Sudbury knows who I am, which is wild. I bet you 0 of 10 people knew who I was a day before that. And they're like, oh yeah, no, we heard about you on the news. I'm so sorry to hear about it, because Sudbury's not huge. So this was like a reasonably significant news story for the town or city of Sudbury. What was I trying to say? Yeah, and then I had people that are like, oh, I don't really align with the PPC values. Like, I don't want to sign for you to be a candidate, but I heard about what happened and I'm super sorry. So I
are you sorry? Like, sign the paper, buddy.
Well, some people don't want to, but like, at least they had the compassion to be like, I'm sorry about what happened to you. I don't support the PPC party platform, and I can respect that. I'm not expecting everybody chooses who they want to vote for, and hopefully they make an informed decision. But I had people like tell me that they don't agree with the PPC platform, but they're still really sorry about what happened to me, and it's not right, and that shouldn't be allowed, and you should still essentially be allowed to run in politics without discrimination. And so that was, I really appreciated that. Like, I thought I put out a post briefly, but I thought like running in politics, it was going to be, people name calling and hating me and all criticism and all that. But like, I'm sure it'll happen. And maybe I'm just running on this couple day of low key, whatever, well known in Sudbury, but everybody's just been like incredibly supportive. Like, my phone was like ringing off the hook for hours Monday night, just everybody and their dog calling me, people I knew, people I didn't know, people like wanting to like donate money and or just their words of support. So it was just probably the most interesting day of my life Monday after that story hit.
Like you, I've never run for, I'm assuming you as well have never run for public office before. And I also was expecting like insane amounts of vitriol, like lady with a broomstick chasing me off her property. The majority of people support me. The amount of donations I've been getting, like the signatures, I got my 100. I handed them in. I put up some signs, lawn signs. I think the people in Canada, they're a lot more informed than I originally gave them credit for. Like they're struggling, they see the problems, and they want change.
Yeah, so I mean, I talked with 20 people, and 10 of them signed for me to be on the ballot, and a number of them are very supportive. Some of them are kind of just indifferent, and we're happy to sign just with just knowing that it lets somebody go on the ballot. But it hasn't been nearly as as bad as I had imagined. I mean, probably will at some point. Maybe I'll be somebody will criticize and all that, but initially it hasn't been like that at all.
So I guess we covered it. Yeah. What's going on with you, and maybe if you could tell the audience, where can they go to learn more about you, and definitely to donate, since you're going to need some money now.
Yeah. So like my Twitter handle is that, and then I wish I conned Chelsea onto this. I don't know. Like if you reach out to us direct, or if you go to the PPC website for like the Sudbury riding, then you can like essentially email me, and then we'll figure that out. We don't have it's not like an interact e-transfer thing you can send right now, because we are probably still till probably Monday of next week when we can actually start receiving formal donations, because we don't have that election thing from Elections Canada that lets us do it.
So there's your it's N Bonderoff. There's your X page, and if it's up, people can go to peoplesparty.ca, go to candidates, search for Nicholas or Bonderoff or Sudbury, and more likely than not, you'll be able to donate from there. Is that correct?
Yeah, there'll be like a link. At least you can email me, and then between me and my official agent, we'll get that sorted.
And do you have an email that's public facing?
Yeah, Nicholas.Bonderoff at teamppc. Pretty sure it's .ca.
Yeah, it's .ca. And well, Nicholas, I'm sorry for what's going on, and I'm keeping it short because it's campaign season. But best of luck to you. You're a smart guy. I'm sure you'll bounce back on your feet. But I don't know. Hang in there. You're one of the better candidates. I'm sorry this has happened to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Payman. I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the podcast. It's the first one I've been on, and maybe it'll be I'll learn from this, and I'll have the opportunity to go on future podcasts to speak about my experiences in the PPC.
Well, I'll keep you over until after we stop the stream, but let's try to get you into the U.S. This is like what headquarters said. They're like, this is an absolute win. Like, this is amazing. Use it. But yeah. All right, Nicholas, thank you very much, and thanks to the audience as well.
Okay, thanks everyone.